Hello everyone. Welcome back to this channel. On this occasion, we're once again going to discuss several leaks that I've managed to find and that I think are quite interesting to talk about. As usual, this information comes from sources that are considered fairly credible. Alright, now let's go straight into the main topic of today's video. Today, Hoyoverse finally released a new drip marketing for a character in version 4.3. And yeah, as we already know, that character is Blade SP. Looking at the drip marketing, we can clearly see that Blade SP is a character who follows the path of nihility with the fire element. Well, this information isn't too surprising, considering details about Blade SP's path and element have been circulating in the community for quite some time. And on this occasion, we're back with the latest discussion about Blade SP. In the previous video, we actually already discussed a bit of new information about Blade SP together with Aventurin SP, focusing on their path and role updates. For those of you who may not have watched it yet or are still curious about that discussion, I highly recommend watching the previous video to get a more complete context. This time, we will discuss Blade SP again, but the discussion will be deeper and more crucial than before, which is regarding parts of Blade SP's kit. And actually, information regarding parts of Aventurin SP's kit already exists. However, we will discuss it in a different video, because if I include it in this video, the duration might be longer. So we will focus on Blade SP first. Of course, all of this information comes from fairly credible sources. So, what might the overview of their kits look like? Without further ado, let's get into the discussion. So this information comes from Uncle B via Galaxy Leaks. Honestly, I don't really know who Uncle B actually is, so the level of credibility may not be as high as some other well-known leakers. However, since the information is shared by Galaxy Leaks, there is at least some level of credibility, although we still shouldn't immediately believe it. Especially since Uncle B himself has stated that this information is still very early, so it's unclear how much might change later. Alright, now let's get into the main discussion. So, in the post that was shared, they said that Blade SP has a mechanic that is quite unique and can even be considered complex. It is mentioned that this mechanic has similarities to a character like Cyrene, where when Blade SP uses their ultimate for the first time, they will undergo a transformation and change into a formal form or outfit. Not only that, Blade SP is also said to have a second ultimate. In this phase, their overall power will increase significantly, and it is even mentioned that the increase is very high and the visual effects look very impressive. If we try to analyze this information, then one major possibility appears: Blade SP will have a dual form system in their gameplay. Before using the first ultimate, there is a possibility that Blade SP's initial form will make them act as a support character. Then after using the first ultimate, they will transform into a DPS. And when using the second ultimate, all of their offensive abilities will increase drastically, where Blade SP will buff everything related to their own offense. That might be what can be concluded from what Uncle B said. However, this is where several interesting questions arise, which really make me curious. If Blade SP truly turns into a DPS after using their ultimate, can they return to their initial form after transforming? Then how would they reapply buffs from their support form if they cannot return to that form? Will the buffs from their support form disappear after they transform? And this is where an interesting speculation comes up. There is a possibility that the buffs given by Blade SP before transformation will be permanent and will continue throughout the game after Blade SP becomes a DPS. And this is indeed very similar to the mechanic we see in Cyrene, where the true damage buff becomes permanent when Cyrene transforms into a memo sprite. Even so, we still do not clearly know whether Blade SP's initial form is a support or actually a DPS. We also do not know whether there is a certain mechanism that allows Blade SP to return to their initial form after transforming. In addition, there is one more important piece of information. In the same post, It is mentioned that Blade SP takes a large portion of the power budget in a follow-up attack team. This means that most of the team's power will be centered on Blade SP. If we understand this information, it seems to indicate that Blade SP will likely become the main core of that team. However, this also raises some confusion. Is Blade SP a character that has support abilities while also being the main DPS? If so, this would be somewhat unusual. Because as we know, characters who have support abilities are usually sub-DPS, not main DPS. Even though they can be used as main DPS, they are basically designed as sub-DPS, such as Evernight and Ashvale. If that's the case, what about Aventurin SP? As we know, in another post that I actually already discussed in yesterday's video, Full Stop Chan via HXG once said that Aventurin SP is an elation DPS based on follow-up attacks. So, wouldn't it be strange to have two main DPS characters in the same team? And they should indeed be in the same team, because they both focus on follow-up attacks. However, a team will certainly not be optimal if there are two main DPS in it. So if they want to say that Blade SP is the main support for a follow-up attack team, then shouldn't they highlight Blade SP's support mode more than their DPS? Well, there is also a possibility that they do not yet know more about Blade SP's support mode, so they are only stating what they know about Blade SP, which happens to be their DPS mode. Regardless of all these speculations, one thing that is quite certain is that Blade SP will arrive in the not-too-distant future. If we look at it, after Beta 4.2 is finished, most likely Beta 4.3 will be the phase where Blade SP's full kit starts to be revealed. This means we actually do not need to wait too long to get a clearer and more accurate picture of this character. Even though Beta 4.2 is still on version 4, we should just wait for version 5, only then will the beta for Blade SP begin. By the way, sometimes beta testing can go as far as version 6. But that seems unlikely, especially considering the schedule for the special program set to be released on the 10th. And yeah, once again, I'll emphasize that this information is still preliminary and subject to change. Whether the changes are minor or major, no one knows. But this information will definitely change once we enter the beta phase. That concludes our discussion regarding the latest developments in the Honkai starrail ecosystem that we can share on this occasion. We greatly appreciate your attention and the time you have taken to watch this discussion until the end. We are also very interested in knowing your opinions and reactions to the information we discussed today. What do you think about these pieces of Blade SP's kit? Do you find the dual form concept like this interesting and innovative? Please share your opinions, analysis, and personal views in the comment section below. Your discussion will certainly make this topic even more interesting and informative. Don't forget to also share this video with your fellow Honkai starrail players who might also be interested in the latest developments of the game. Your support through likes and subscriptions means a lot for the growth of this channel so that it can continue to deliver informative. Thank you for your attention, and see you in the next discussion.